How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel. For those who are returning, for those that are new, welcome to my channel. This is Eddie Star Tarot, and today I'll be doing a reading for the zodiac sign Sagittarius. You guys, I utilize my Fridays to advance you guys. This is more in regards to spiritual advancement, going through the ascension process. I'm helping you to go through it, or as at least to take you to where I'm at, right? We'll be talking about spiritual concepts, and I will be utilizing two different decks. I like these two decks when I'm talking about this kind of thing because they're really deep. The first one, and if you're a reader, I recommend both of these decks. They're oracles. It's the White Light Oracle by Anna Fairchild, and then the Secret Language of Light by Denise Jarvie. Dennis. Maybe your name is Dennis out there. Dennis, if you are on this channel, Spirit just acknowledged you, and you are on your way, and God loves you, and keep moving forward in your journey. You've got something ahead of you. If I'm saying your name, or if your name is Denise or Anna or Fairchild or Alana, if those are your names, God has a particular plan for you, and you're in the initial steps. You are going to change aspects of the world that you have no clue how big your mission is. But let's get into it. You guys, so just to structure it, the first part of this, I'll tell you guys a story and some subject matter that I feel like that we need to talk about, and then we'll get into the reading. So I will eventually pull cards, but this first part, I'm going to talk. It's the way I do my channel. That's the way I get it. So let's get started. The first thing that I want to talk about, you guys, or the four different things I want to talk about is, I call it spiritually coming out, living in your authenticity, your truth. What is it? So standing in your path, and then judgment. So let's start out with the first thing. The way that I said it to Aries and Leo, I'll say it the same to you guys. It's very difficult and very draining when we decide not to, even if you choose a path that is, and I have an alarm here, so something's going to happen to you, something at 2 o'clock. That's for somebody out there. 2 o'clock tomorrow, or I don't know. So let's see. It's very exhausting if you don't choose a path. I equate this to this. When we're hiding parts of ourselves, we're literally walking the fence. And even if you choose to go down a path where you go back to sleep, or you want to follow 3D or matrix values, this isn't the equivalency of the dark path and the light path, the evil path, the good path, the higher vibration or the low vibration. No, it's your choice. Well, you'll find that often, because I did the same thing, I denied my path for a very long time. So I know how it is to keep going down that same path, because I'm too scared to go down this path. But also, once I had this awakening this last time, sitting on that fence is one of the most exhausting things that you can do. It's like being in the ocean, and I like using this because it's a good way to give you a picture. A lot of the times, a lot of us don't know if you swim out into the ocean and then the waves start coming in and you start to try to go back onto shore. If you're swimming in a straight angle, you're going to continuously be taken back. So you're going to swim forward, and the wave was going to suck you back out. I almost drowned this way, and somebody saved me. This guy had told me, "Hey, dude, you're gonna die out here." He's like, "I don't want to have to take you back in. I'm going to teach you." And I was like, "All right." He let me hang out on his board, and he taught me a lesson. And this lesson is going to be taught to you guys today. He said, if you swim straight, the wave's going to keep taking you back, and it's going to keep beating you up and beating you up and crashing on you. You need to swim diagonally. He's like, what do you notice about the waves? He's like, do you notice when you go in, you never go back to the point that you're at? He's like, you're trying to go back to your family right now, right? And I was like, yeah, because the spot's up here. He's like, don't do that. He's like, if you're tired and you get carried a mile away, you get carried a mile away. He's like, you'll survive. it's easier to swim diagonally. Go figure that I'm talking about two different paths right now. Right now, you're going straight. You're not making a decision, or you're making a decision based on old programming. For me, it was me going back to my family, right? So you're continuously getting crashed on and crashed on. God wants you guys to, because the path that you're on, you're continuously getting beat down. You need to make a decision. I don't care if you go right or left. There is no wrong answer. There's only a choice. Right now, you're getting beat up by the waves. So with all that being said, let's talk about it. My story started out when I got sober. So recovery is a huge part of my story. The spiritual awakening, or I would say the spiritual side of me, the activating, or me getting out of the matrix. There's many ways to say this. Somewhere around the six month mark, that time period is when I started getting downloads, listening to the guidance, right? Following and embodying certain parts of this, but I did it in secret because I was too embarrassed, because the people around me would make fun of me. And that fear there was a truth in it, because I knew that they were going to make fun of me. They weren't going to understand it. But it's because I knew what was going to happen, because it had happened to me many times before. And so you guys probably have, if you resonate with my channel, resonate with what I'm saying, if you like the other readings, it's because you guys resonate with me on a deep soul level. Whether you can equate that or not, it's not because of how I look. It might have something to do with it. It's not the way that I speak. And like I said, it could have something to do with it, but it's because something deep down inside, you know me on a soul level. Also, it's the experiences that I've had, the triumphs that I had. I'm giving you information that's going to help you walk your journey a little bit better. You're going to learn off of me. I might activate you as well. So you've probably gone through some of the similar situations. You might be going through recovery. Maybe you're a recovering addict, alcoholic, or maybe it's just you are in the self-help industry, or you do self-help, right? You like it. You read self-help books. You have this thirst or knowledge to aid and help yourself as well as helping others. You give. You're an empath. You're probably you are a light worker. One of the things that I had the most difficulty with, you guys, is being authentic around people that were in my crowd. And one of the things that I didn't want to admit at that time period, and maybe you guys are going through the same thing, I didn't want to admit that the people around me, they didn't have my best interests in mind. They were poking holes in the bottom of the ship. And so you probably have the same thing going on. This is a two-pronged problem. One of the big things that you're going to find out is that people are going to have to leave your life. And it's one of the most difficult things to do, because it's people that you love. Just because, and that's why they call this your soul tribe, as opposed to the people that are in your life. It's not to say that all of them are bad or all of them are in low vibration. It's just to say that some of them are in low vibration and they're karmic to you. You have to learn a lesson. They have to grow as well. By you leaving, or by you setting what I like to call boundaries, is going to help people move out of your life. Not everyone's going to move out of your life too. There's levels to it. So by you standing in your truth and by you honoring yourself, one of the ways that I say this is when you start to do these things, like for me, it was with my family, right? I started talking about spiritual things, meditation, even the concepts that I was talking about. I would get those little jabs. What are you, a philosopher? Like, what are you going to use this knowledge for? Right? Or why are you meditating? It looks stupid. Are you trying to get attention? Stuff like that, right? So my biggest fears come to fruition. Go figure, right? I'm the creator of this. So if I feared it, most likely it's going to come into my reality. It needed to, because I needed to learn a lesson. Probably the same thing's going on for you. Also, one of the things that I implore many people or newcomers or people who are going through this ascension process is that when you start to set boundaries, that's going to be the first indicators of who's about you and who's not. One, you're going to realize that you are in a codependent energy, and the relationship is symbiotic. Usually it's a codependency that goes on there. One's an enabler and one is sucking off the other. It's a parasitic relationship. It's toxic. And both are gaining something from it, whether you believe it or not. But it's very unhealthy for both people. When you start to make boundaries, I say this like this: when you start telling people, don't talk to me that way, or you start to say, these are my beliefs, I am a spiritual being, I like crystals, I pray, I now pray with meditation, I don't want to go to church, I want to do this, I go to spiritual communities, I do yoga, I do healing, I do Reiki. It's going to make people pissed, because you guys are raising your vibration, raising your consciousness, and also people have an idea about you already, and you're not going to be able to change that. That has nothing to do with you. There's nothing you can say or do or going to make anyone look at you any other way. My family has seen me as one way, and they can't see me as another. It's going to have to take some time. They have to heal before that happens. So I'm letting you know the bad news immediately. I wish someone told me this in the beginning, because then I would have got it. But I needed to go through it to teach you guys. So, how do you honor yourself? Honoring yourself is speaking your truth. Don't hide it. Do not hide yourself. If they call you, they're going to call you crazy. They're going to ostracize you. That is the judgment part. We'll get to that. But honoring yourself is, if you have crystals, you have crystals. If you want to take that Reiki class, go take that Reiki certification. If you guys do tarot and you're a reader and you've been Christian like me, then you have that systematic programming, you're going to have to get through that. God has a specific plan for you, Sagittarius. Maybe you're a healer. Maybe you're embarrassed because of what happened to you in the past. In the last reading, which was with Leo, one of the things came out with sacred sexuality. Maybe you guys are going to be healers with sexuality. You're going to talk about sex. That is taboo in most places, right? Especially if you grew up Christian. And if you're a female doing it, it's also looked at as something else, right? Maybe you're going to be a doula. That's a different aspect of looking at it. There's many different things, right? It just depends on what you guys are going to be doing with your guys' life. God already knows the blueprint. You don't have to know it yet, but you have to start embodying and honoring all these things about you. They're happening for a reason. And I'll explain it to you like this. When I didn't think that I was going to ever be able to do this, even though it was the first thought that I had. I said, I didn't know what I was doing in the beginning. When I would look at art, and be like, oh, it means something. And people would be like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I would look at a painting and be able to depict it in a certain way. And sometimes it matched what the artist was trying to do, or I had my own depiction. And people were like, wow, you're very insightful. I didn't know I was reading the cards already, right? Because I couldn't get there yet. Also, there's information in these cards that I had no clue why I was learning what I was learning in the beginning, but I had to honor this process. For you, there's things that are happening right now. Angel numbers. For me, one of the angel numbers, as I started to listen to it, because it took like almost a decade for me to honor the damn angel numbers, right? 333, 222, 111. Now it's developed into something that I call it has a brain of its own now. But there's parts of that needs to be honored so you guys can start to develop. 2 years and 3 months ago, I didn't see myself as a tarot reader, a channeler, intuitive, empath, any of that. But I was learning about stuff that I would talk about today, whether that was sacred geometry. I was reading the book of Enoch. I was reading stuff like it was like Jewish Kabbalistic Kabbalistic teachings, Hermetic principles, universal laws. People were looking at me like I'm crazy, and I thought I was crazy too in the beginning. But then I realized that this knowledge meant something. I was like, people are saying it's useless knowledge, and it's not useless knowledge. All those things are spiritual principles as development. Now I get to speak about it, and it has an essence to it. I didn't know that we were moving into this Aquarius age. I didn't know anything about this, right? So I'm telling you that you need to honor these parts of yourself. If you deny it, it's like denying a part of yourself. It's like a kid. Would you deny a kid? No, absolutely not. Especially love. You wouldn't deny them that. It's like your inner child needs to be honored. This part needs to grow. If you don't give it light, it won't grow. Okay, with that being said, the heartbreaking part of this, you guys, if you lasted this long, I hope you did. Sagittarius, you're going to receive judgment. You're not going to be able to change other people's opinions, not right away. Because one is they've already seen you in a certain light. For me, you guys, I'm a recovering addict, alcoholic. That's already a check block right off the bat. Stigma. You're going to be stigmatized. You're going to be ostracized. But you're already the black sheep, possibly. I know that much about you. I know that you don't think a lot like other people, and people have told you that. You've met with oppositional forces throughout your life. You've probably gone through a lot of the trauma that I talk about in my channel. Abuse, neglect, abandonment. You possibly have been downtrodden. You've been backstabbed. All the good stuff, right? So you're going to receive that judgment no matter what. I'm going to break your heart quick and fast. If I can tell you anything, is to honor yourself, honor your process. Also, when you start to set those boundaries, people are going to walk away. But there are going to be some of those people that are strong. They're smart. They're intellectual. You have to remember, if you have power and you come from a family, they have power too. They're just utilizing their power in a certain way. And there's going to be another part of your journey when you go through the dark, or you probably are already going through the dark night of the soul, but there's a part where you figure out that you're dark too. You have a dark side to yourself. What does that mean? You utilize your gifts in a way that's not useful to other human beings or yourself. That's another process, but let's talk about this judgment. It's been 2 years and 3 months. I told this to the last reading. It's been 2 years in spirituality, and someone still got in my head 2 weeks ago or a week ago. Someone called me and they were dropping hints that I was crazy, right? But they were doing it in a sly way. That I got away from that call, and they made me think for a little bit, and then I had to readjust. So I'm letting you know in this process, be patient with yourself, be honest with yourself, be authentic with yourself. Okay, so those are some of the downloads that I needed to get out to you. Now let's get into the reading, you guys. This is where the juice. But I will be reading out of the book as well. These books, because there's a lot of beautiful details that need to be said. So let's get started, Sagittarius Spirit. What do we have for Saggies? What do we have for Sagittarius? Please and thank you. Awesome. Okay, so the first two cards, you guys, we have Soul Love and Inward Revolution. So let's start off with 33, Soul Love. That's beautiful. What I get from the card, you guys, is that so we have the lotus flower up here, right? This is communication with higher self. This came out for the fire sign Leos as well. They want you to acknowledge your higher self. I know this much. If you're denying part of yourself to other people, you're denying your higher self on some level. Because you have to remember this, whatever happens on a certain platform, you're probably doing it on others, right? It always bleeds into other parts of your life. So 33 is telling me that you guys understand, or you need to understand that you guys are either an ascended master, or possibly the ascended masters are working with you right now. They're trying to teach you. All the things that I'm saying, you guys, it's master level stuff, even if it sounds simple. Also, another thing to note, you guys, I can give you guys all this information and walk you through the ascension process, but it's difficult when you guys have to go through it yourself. And I gave this picture to the Leos. It's similar to the idea of like me when I was in the military. You can get trained all day, repetitive stuff, learning chaos, and drill sergeants or soldiers yelling at you and stuff like that to get you prepared for battle. But when you get into battle and shit goes down, a lot of the times all that training goes out the window. And then you have to make decisions while you're on the fight response. So oftentimes you guys, and I've lost my train of thought again, and I lost my train of thought in there, so that means something. But oftentimes you guys, there's a reason why you guys are receiving the downloads that you're receiving. Okay, getting back to honoring your higher self. Right now, your higher self wants you to know that they love you. The Ascended Masters want them to know that they love you as well. You have distractions around you. You have an oppositional force, even though you guys are walking your path. Right now, I can feel, the reason why I know this, you guys, is I could feel someone sending me negative energy. And it did shift me a little bit. So let's get into the book meaning. You got to work through it. You got to keep working through it, man. There's no stopping. I gotta put the message out there, right? So you guys got to put the message out there as well. It says unconditional love. Beautiful. You are a clear, pure love. Nothing from the past will block your dreams. Your future will be nothing like what it has been before. You are at the center of your universe, looking outward through your experiences. When you look out in balance, you are seeing through love, and will experience many variations of love. Make love your purpose. That's beautiful. Find it wherever you can. If you begin to introduce anything to your world that does not feel like love, shift your awareness, your energy, or your eyes until you return to love. Become so devoted to your purpose of love that no one will sway you from it. Doesn't this match completely with what I said? It says unconditional love is not about tolerating or diminishing yourself to make another feel good. Damn, son. These are conditional actions that will make you feel less than or resentful. If you're trying to believe something that's not your truth, it will feel awful because you're not in agreement with your soul. Your job is to feel balanced in every moment. If you can't, go easy on yourself. It is a sign that you are yet to love something about yourself. Beautiful. One of the huge things in this, you guys, is the unconditional love that you need to have for yourself. You cannot fill another person's cup unless you fill yourself up, right? It says unconditional love is not tolerating or diminishing yourself to make another feel good. That is one of the hardest lessons that I'm trying to get across to you guys. Yeah, download. This is the download that I'm getting. You guys, some of you guys resonate with the recovery process. You guys, addiction or alcoholism or some form of codependency. The download is this. Oftentimes this isn't taught. And I like to talk about the recovery process because it gives you an idea as to I don't care where the information comes from, because AA is a spiritual community. Spiritual communities teach the same things, they just have a different verbiage, a different vernacular when they're talking about it. So I hate to explain it like this, but a lot of the times stigmas is what keeps us. Stigma is just fear at the end of the day. And stigmas is huge, is what I'm talking about today as well. We get stigmatized, or we don't want to get stigmatized or put in a category where people look down on us. But that has to change. You have to go through those fears anyways. You're going to have to walk through that process in some form or fashion. But one of the things that's not taught a lot in AA or spiritual community is that, yes, the alcoholic is sick, right? On many different levels. But one of the major levels is the spiritual malady. It means a disease or sickness of the spirit. That's not just an alcoholic trait. That is a humanity trait, right? So most people are having a spiritual malady, spiritual sickness, where we need to evolve. Why would we be going through the ascension process if that wasn't the case, right? So with that being said, you guys, oftentimes alcoholics relapse because they go back home. Do you want to know why? Because the family around, some are hiding the fact that they're an alcoholic. Some are fighting the fact that they don't want to see this person change. So oftentimes an alcoholic will go back and relapse because old memories come back up. People ostracize them, judge them, or they're on their ass 24/7, right? That's why oftentimes for an alcoholic, they will tell them not to go back home, to at least go into a recovery home, or give it a year before you go back home, maybe 6 months, because you need to get strong before you go back into an environment, because the alcoholic isn't the only one that's sick. Go back to the spiritual malady. All of them are sick. It's a humanity thing, right? So look at this, you guys. I'm trying to let you know that there's people around you that are sick still. Even though you're going through this ascension process, there's people that are attached to that old idea, and also they're growing as well. This isn't a place for us to judge them, but it is a place that you need to tear yourself away from them, right? That's what they're saying here too. You can't diminish parts of yourself for the sake of other people. And we can be the martyr and play the victim very well, so we have to get out of that idea as well. So let's move on to inward revolution. Let's read the book meaning. Number 42. It says, the way of your heart. You are always moving forward, even when you feel like you're going backward. Your path may seem to go up and down, or inward or outward. The spiral is a symbol of your soul journey. It represents the cyclical adventure into your heart center. You will continually revisit aspects of your life to bring you to a deeper understanding. Difficulties and challenges can command a greater focus as they help to build bigger and better dreams and desires. Each cycle of life is an important stepping stone that expands into the next. Your life will only feel authentic when you come to your own conclusions. An inward revolution will open you to the wisdom of your soul. It is the path we must all take to truly know and love ourselves. From this place, we move outward back into the world, empowered with our soul's wisdom. You are worthy of all you desire, no matter where you are in your spiral. That's beautiful, you guys. You know what this reminds me of? Is also in tandem with the card. It's that you have done nothing wrong. Oftentimes we're like in this inward spiral. It's to me, it's acknowledging yourself. Going back to acknowledging yourself. It's one of the key factors, even with these cards. The reoccurring theme is to acknowledge yourself. Maybe you haven't acknowledged yourself on a. Forget everybody else. You haven't acknowledged you, who you are, what you want, right? And now that you're starting to do that, acknowledge every part of your journey. Oftentimes, I talk a lot about the past, right? Because I know that there's people out there that need to hear that you can overcome adversity, you can overcome past, no matter how detrimental it is. My story is dramatic, right? It's like painful and hurtful. But I've heard stories worse than mine, a lot, and it's commonplace, especially in those rooms about Alcoholics Anonymous. I see the disaster that I hear, even in spiritual communities, the things that people have to overcome. I'm not the only one out there. I know that there's more. So honoring each part of it, no matter what, you guys, those things of the past, the things that you overcome, become your medicine. The things that you heal from, those are the things that you're supposed to heal from, and then honor, and then teach others about that. That is something. That's another part of the journey. But you need to honor every part of it. There is no wrong way. Remember when I told you in the beginning about taking that path? You can keep taking that other path, right? Not this new path that God wants you to go on, because you're chosen. The biggest thing here, you guys, is that you are chosen, whether you know it or not. You'll understand this later on. It's not wrong for you guys to keep going down this path. It isn't. You can keep doing that. It's your choice. But eventually, like myself, you're gonna hit a point where you're just tired of doing that same thing, the cycle. You're gonna realize at some point, it's like, you're gonna judge yourself as well. You're gonna say, damn it, why did I keep doing that for so long? But I have to honor the periods, because every time that I tried to get sober, every time that I tried to get away from people, every time that I tried to show love in despite of people dimming my light, all those things taught me. Every cycle taught me a lesson. Wisdom that cannot be gained unless I've gone through it. So you have to honor every part of your journey, right? Let's move on. Let's move on to the White Light Oracle. I'm going to pull one card from there, and then we're going to call it a read. Sagittarius. Spirit, what do we have for Sagittarius? Honor yourself. That's what I'm going to name this. Honoring yourself. One of the cards that was showing too was light being. The light beings card was underneath the deck. So honoring yourself is honoring your high self. So if you honor thyself, look at the spelling. You honor high self, right? So you are a light being. You are having a higher experience and a lower experience right now. You're in this reality, but you are a higher being, whether you know it or not. That's why I said you might be an ascended master. Spirit, give me a card, please. Thank you. Okay, so we have two that came out. Spirit's like, nah, you ain't getting one, you're getting two. So we have sacrament. It's a sacrament of extreme unction. And then the beta of Spirit Wolf, which is the title card. Okay, so I'm going to read the book meanings. You guys, these things are deep. Let's start with sacrament of extreme unction. You might be 34 years old or 43. You could be 23 as well. Obviously, you could be any other ages, but I say those ages because Spirit wants to call attention to that. So if someone's like, oh, I'm 34, I need to listen to this message, right? It says sacrament of extreme unction. Your heart knows how to let go so you can find peace. It is time for you to experience spiritual closure. That's what we've been talking about all day. You're experiencing spiritual closure. You're just people right now that need to go. A beautiful new reality is opening up for you. Entering it requires you to release your attachment to the past. I could just end the reading right here. You have been inwardly preparing for a powerful rebirth. Now is the time to trust in what is meant for you and move toward it with an open, trusting heart and peaceful mind. In an ideal world, we would finish our inner work, be completely healed, check it off the list, and move on without any issues from the past intruding into our present life. The issue is that we can't just do that. You want to know why? Because mass consciousness. We, as a mass level, we have a program. We have many programs that we have to enter into. Generational curses, right? One of them for me is alcoholism, drug addiction. Another is codependency. Another is anger. Another one is ego, pride. But those things don't just, it's not just my family that's going through it. Those curses are on all of humanity. Also, you have to go through school, so you learn a different mindset. You learn about the 9-to-5 experience, right? Those are things that you have to overcome, but all of those things cause trauma. The thing about this experience on earth is there's a lot of trauma here. There's a lot of oppression. There's a lot of suppression. We need to move out of that, but that's why this part of saying is really hard and difficult to do, because you guys have already obtained way too much trauma, especially if you're chosen. It says, in a more realistic view, we do our best to muddle through, gaining enough understanding and healing to attain some degree of closure and move on as best we can, flicking off remnants of the past which can arise, even whilst we are doing our best to let go. In an even more challenging turn of our growth spiral, we may know something has run its course and no longer belongs in our world, and yet have trouble exercising the past and its pains, confusion, or attachments. So it bleeds through into our present, even though we know it doesn't belong there. Dang. To avoid the taint of the past causing unnecessary issues in the present, the oracle of the sacrament of extreme unction brings powerful spiritual last rites, so you can be cleansed and liberated into fullness of your next phase. In the Catholic tradition, extreme unction is performed at the time of a physical passing, to cleanse the soul and allow it to gracefully leave the body and enter the afterlife. In the context of this oracle, the symbolic equivalent of the sacrament is the powerful intervention of spirit to free you from the grip of what has been. It is a liberation from habit and the compelling lure of the familiar. It is the divine forgiveness and healing. You guys, letting go of the past because it no longer belongs to you. You don't belong in it anymore. You've outgrown it. Now it's time to ascend and move to the next level. It's what I've been talking about all day. Spirit is on fire right now. Extreme unction translate into last anointing. Spiritual grace will be with you always, and blessing is always available to the receptive heart. This oracle wishes to bring to your attention the ending of a particular stubborn pattern. As it does, you will feel greater freedom and a new lease on life, as if you're being born again within this lifetime. It augurs significant and permanent healing release. As the expression goes, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. The oracle encourages you to embrace your future and let go of the emotional, psychological burdens you have been carrying for yourself and likely for many others, ancestors and more, for far too long. Sometimes we martyr ourselves to the pain of the past, or even attempt to carry the suffering of others, holding it within our hearts as if we can alleviate the burden of another or create healing. All that happens in such instances is the suffering increases. Let yourself off the hook of guilt, shame, or blame. Give yourself permission to acknowledge that all people, including you, have done their best. The universe is offering you a powerful gift. Your heart knows how to receive it. Let go. There is no turning back. It's time to start anew. It is your time to be happy and free. Boom. Beautiful, man. I can't even give words to that after the fact, man. That's just beautiful, man. Let's see what Beta of Spirit Wolf is, and we'll end you guys' reading. It says, Beta of Spirit Wolf. Give yourself enough rest. Only then will you be able to ground yourself enough to cultivate focus and motivation to fulfill your path. You will find a way through any tricky situation as you tune into your instincts and trust your own timing. From time of change and uncertainty comes confidence, love, and resilience. Embrace transition. Commit to your task and stay focused, but be flexible in your approach. You have the skill to intuitively handle any issue. Spirit Wolf skillfully guides you through transition and uncertainty. He enhances instinct, intuition, and presence so we can sense and avoid possible sabotage or traps, and intelligently and safely find your way around them. Spirit Wolf tunes us into our instincts without creating paranoia or hyper arousal. This is the medicine of awareness and engagement that comes from tuning in without fear, rather than from defensiveness, suspicion, and building walls against life. Where direct confrontation could stall a resolution or make matters worse, Spirit Wolf teaches us to soften our energy, appear less threatening, and therefore minimize the chance of other party reacting aggressively out of fear. This enhances the possible of resolution. Spirit Wolf calls for lunar wisdom, for honoring the non-rational knowing of intuition, for trusting our spiritual instincts and the inner sense of timing. He is the unconventional yet reliable pathfinder. He shows us how to be flexible while remaining connected to our higher purpose. Beta Spirit Wolf brings the message that your resourcefulness and capacity to meet your needs is greater than you realize. Honoring yourself, right? Your needs are important, and you need to be able to fill your own cup. Your needs are the most important right now. You have to be selfish and greedy right now, and then there will be a point that you can give, but you can't give when your cup is halfway full, right? We will always find a way through. As Spirit Wolf thrives in a cheerful, playful social bonding with this tribe, there's also a reminder that a connection is an essential ingredient in our approach to life. To thrive and have as much fun as the intelligent, playful, successful, adaptable, and resourceful wolf, we need love in our life. To experience love, we must be willing to reach out and open up and run the risk of letting love in, as well as to share unconditionally without thought that we can get out of it, which would transform the beautiful gift of love into a manipulative tool of ego. Beta brainwaves oscillate between 14 hertz and 40 hertz. It is the pattern of the waking state when our alertness and reasoning are heightened. If our beta waves become excessive, it can be challenging to transition into a more relaxed state. And the result is increased stress. Stress is a significant problem for the human collective, and the negative impact on our health and our planet is considerable. It is easier for a relaxed mind to access clarity and inspiration. Beta waves are stimulating, and while heightened arousal is beneficial in small doses at appropriate times, if this becomes our dominant way of being, our stress levels will compromise our well-being and our wisdom. The excess of anxiety-related disorders affecting humanity at this time is one system of beta brainwaves in overdrive. Beta helps get things done out of imbalance. It disconnects us from the nourishing sacred feminine presence within the heart that generates contentment. Beta excess is progress at any cost. Beta deficiency results in lack of focus and inattention to what is happening. So problems are not readily solved. Spirit Wolf brings a healing recalibration of our beta waves so we can avoid depression and feel motivated, yet also know when to step back and reconnect to a slower healing rhythm of our heart and soul. Wow, that's crazy. That's awesome, man. I like the part when they're saying they're talking about us being overstimulated as human beings. We're not in this place right now being overstimulated. Also, I like to equate I like to equate often back to addiction. It's like overstimulation, like us being overly aroused is actually it's dysfunction. It brings disharmony. We need peace. We need to be in those relaxed states to allow. That's cool. That's a good way to end the reading, you guys. I'm going to leave it there. It's been a fantastic read. Hopefully you guys caught something from it. Sagittarius, I will catch you in tomorrow's daily. I will let you guys go with that.